Hey, all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly value, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I wanted to show this clip of a lady talking about why she thinks men no longer chase them. And we're going to have a little bit of a discussion about it. The clip is about a minute long, so I'm not going to waste too much time. Here we go.
We have made it okay for men to give us the bare minimum. We have lowered our standards, and men are not creating this. They are responding to this. That's the part that women need to own. That is why the red pill community is successful. That's why it exists, because it is true. Women reject the construction worker who might have a little bit of a dad bod, right? He might have a little bit of a dad bod, but he's hardworking. He's fairly attractive. He's 5'11", so he doesn't have all the sixes. He's not 6 foot tall with a six pack and six figures, right? But he's fairly attractive, but she doesn't want him. Not because he's not a good candidate and not because he's not good enough, but because women are wired. We have a very nasty mindset, unfortunately. We are very critical. We are very judgmental. We are doing it because we want the other women around us to respect our fly based on the man that we're with. That's a problem. Certainly.
So we're actually going to go back. We're going to go back. Because I definitely wanted to talk about some of the stuff that she said. I didn't mean to not share the screen. In any case, in any case, because these were in my likes, but we're gonna pause it. I wanted to address a couple of things that she said. She was okay, but she was off on a couple of points. And I think the first point that she was off about was that the reason why when men are comfortable giving women the bare minimum, if we're going to take that narrative in the first place, is that women lower their standards. I'm going to correct that. Women lowered their value, not their standards. Okay. And there is a difference between the two. And I want women to understand that there's a difference between your standards and your values. There's a difference between standards and expectations. Okay. Women have not lowered their standards because they still want the same things that women have always wanted from men in relationship and in marriages and things of that nature. Women still want men's 4 Ps. Women still want provision, problem solving, protection, and procreation. They have always wanted it. They want it maybe in varying levels and degrees, but they always want it because women always need that in some capacity. The problem is that through the known culprits, through feminism, through womanism, through women's lib, through, so-called equality and all of these other isms and schisms that women have bought into, and movements and so forth and so on that women have bought into, this has lowered women's value simply because women have thought that by joining with these movements or by adopting the mindset or by adopting the value system of these movements, that they would elevate themselves beyond men, that they were elevating themselves beyond the drudgery of womanhood, really. Because when you talk about these things, they don't like well, they don't like gender roles, or well, why do women have to be the ones that take care of the home or take care of the kids or expected to do certain things. That's, sexist. There should be no such thing as gender roles, except when it comes to providing and problem solving and protecting and procreation. Those can remain male gender roles, but when we talk about female based gender roles, there shouldn't be any. This has led to the devaluing of women, particularly as it pertains to sexual liberation, because women decided that part of um, part of going above and beyond the trappings of womanhood, in order to excel beyond womanhood, we had to go into the realm of manhood, sexual male sexuality, and women needed to adopt male sexuality, or how women perceive male sexuality to be, right? So women have perceived male sexuality to be promiscuous, basically. Um, the saying "sowing your wild oats" was always attributed to men. Their oats being their seed, right? Because you sow seeds. So that concept, men should go out and sow their wild oats, and this and that. Basically, many societies, including this one, have always given men permission to be promiscuous. All right. Promiscuity is not something that men have traditionally been taken to task about. That has not been a negative for men, right? And women have been jealous of that. A lot of women have been jealous about, oh, well, why is it that when women sleep around, they got to be slut shamed, but when men sleep around, they're congratulated for it? We don't want to be slut shamed. We want to be congratulated for doing the same thing, because if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, blah, 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 blah. We should be able to do the same thing because yada, 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 all these different reasons. These things, adopting these mindsets, basically adopting a mindset that was anti-femininity and anti-woman. Feminism is really a misogynistic mindset, and I wish women would understand that. Just because it contains the word fem or feminine or the prefix fem doesn't mean that it's pro-woman. It doesn't mean that it's for women. It's actually for the destruction of women by destroying their mindset and destroying a positive viewpoint as it pertains to thinking about their femininity and their womanhood, to think that it's negative and the only traits that are positive are male traits. And so to do anything that you can to adopt male traits as much as you can. So women didn't lower their standards, they lowered their value. Okay. And so men have responded. She's right in that this is a response. Men have responded to that by saying, well, we don't necessarily need to give you our 4Ps, especially to any reputable degree, because we only really want to give that to women who are wives. And over time, women have, since they lowered their value, have proven that it's not a lot of wives available, even though there are a lot of females available, right? And so that has a snowball effect. That's a domino effect. So now we're here with, red pill and blah, 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 blah. But I'm not even going to focus on that. I'm going to jump over to one of the last things that she said. And she was also not correct about this, because this is a hyena wiring, not a lioness wiring. And she talked about women being wired to choose men based on the approval of other women. This is a hyena clan, okay? Hyena clan, women, females who are hyenas get men or leave men. They accept men or reject men, not based on the merit of the man, not based on whether or not this is a good fit for her, not based on whether or not she can have a good, healthy, happy relationship with this man, but whether or not her friends or her mom or the other women in her lives approve of this man. And this approval or disapproval can be based on any form of it can be based on any superficial thing, right? Any small thing, any small flaw or something like that with this man, if he doesn't meet this fantastical viewpoint or this fantastical imagination or imaginary man, then he's not good enough and she should move on, and she could find her another man. And this is where the sentiment comes from, that single women keep other women single, because hyenas are always going to keep other hyenas single because their strength comes in numbers for each other, right? A hyena clan is strongest when they don't have any other attachments other than to each other. So that is not a base woman. That's not female nature, is what I'm trying to say. Us doing that for the approval of other women, that's a hyena thing. Lionesses don't do that because it doesn't pay for us to do that. It's not beneficial to us to base our choice of men on the females around us, particularly in this climate. Most of the females around us are going to be hyenas, right? Rarely are we going to have other lionesses around us. They may be few or far in between. So usually we're surrounded by hyenas, and so their opinions don't count because they don't even like the way we're moving anyways, because we're moving like lionesses and they don't approve of that. So, they think that our relationships are whacked out all the way around. They think that the men that we pick are quote unquote too controlling and they're too this and too that. And we're pick-me's. We're too submissive. We're too obedient. We're too ready to go with the flow, and we're not standing up for ourselves, and we don't have backbones and things of that nature. So it doesn't pay for the lioness in this climate to take a lot of the word of the other females around us for anything. You got to take it with a grain of salt, because most of these other females that are around us don't have and have not had successful or healthy relationships in the first place. So they're not able to tell us good information about whether or not we're in a good situation or not, because they don't know how to detect that. Their intuition is for crap. So we can't really take what they say. We can't really go on what they observe, because a lot of the times the females around us are toxic. They're hyenas. They don't think like us anyway. They don't move like us anyway. So usually a lioness doesn't have a whole lot of resources in terms of other females to sort of bounce off of. And you know what I'm saying? So we can't operate on the approval or disapproval of other females around us most of the time, right? So we just have to basically use our own sense of judgment and discernment, and whether or not we're in a good situation and a good relationship to begin with. So I thought that this was just an interesting clip. Let me know what you think. Jump down in the comment section. Once again, let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your hostess, The Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.